as long as the lemon trees grow. Chapter 33. Lama and Yusuf protested at having Tio move again until Kenan promised them all the candy they want when we get to Germany. Now they're settling in one of the rooms that's been put aside for the children whose family members are at the hospital recovering. The children there are already sleeping, a couple of them crying out occasionally and others restlessly kicking their legs. Kenan finds a space in a corner for Lama and Yusuf. Lama falls asleep as soon as Kenan sets her on the blanket. Yusuf lies beside her, his eyes as huge as an owl's. He glances at me and I smile. He looks away and even in the dim light filtering through the open door I can see his blush. Kenan makes sure they're both covered and warm before closing the door behind him. "Aren't you sleepy?" I ask, glancing at the hallway clock. "It's nearly 10 p.m. He shakes his head. "I can't sleep while my wife works." There's that word again. Wife. He notices my flustered expression and grins. "Wife," he repeats. I stop, covering my face with my hands, unable to look at him without bursting into flames. He holds my wrists, dragging them away. "Look at me," he whispers. "If I do, my heart might stop," I reply, staring at the floor and then looking over his shoulder and around us. "We can't do this here. Anyone could walk by." He responds by taking my hand and walking us through the hallway. I feel like I'm supposed to feel in a might life. A teen sneaking away with the boy she loves, her heart racing. We reach the stockroom and he closes the door behind us, backing me against it. He doesn't touch me, doesn't raise my chin, but he's a breath away from me. "Would you look at me now?" he asks. His voice is low and throaty, dancing over my skin. I look up at him and catch the amusement in his eyes. A peek of who he is when the revolution isn't forcing him to build a shield and hide pieces of himself. The realization makes me laugh and he raises his eyebrows. That wasn't the response I was expecting. "You're a flirt, aren't you?" I chuckle. He shakes his head, laughing. "You're just realizing this now?" I give him a curious look. "Salama, I've been flirting with you ever since we met," he says. I guess it was a bit too subtle. "Well, what else do you have up your sleeve?" I ask, feeling emboldened in the privacy of this room. This tiny place exists outside reality, as do all our times together. A secretive smile plays on his lips and he lowers his head. I instinctively close my eyes, waiting for his lips to touch mine, but he doesn't kiss me. Instead, he lays his forehead against the door right beside my ear and his body is flush against mine. Somehow this feels more intimate. It's too hot under my sweater and I press myself firmly against the door until I'm sure I'm about to fuse with it. "I've thought so much about the time stolen from us," he whispers and I nearly sigh. His voice is so close. "If things weren't like they are, we'd be long married. I would take you all over Syria on a road trip. We'd visit every city and village. See the history that lives in our country. I'd kiss you on the beaches of Latakia, pick flowers for you in Deir-ez-Zor, take you to my family home in Hama, have a picnic under the ruins of Palmyra. People would look at us and they'd think how they've never seen two people more in love." I can't move. I can't breathe. I hope he never stops talking. "I wanted so many things," he says and rests his forehead on my shoulder. Melancholy drips from his tone. "But meeting you, loving you, you made me realize how life can be salvaged. That we deserve to have happiness in this long night." Finally, he leans back and gazes at me so tenderly I might actually start weeping. "Thank you for being my light," he whispers. And this time I don't wait for him to kiss me. I link my arms around his neck, pulling him in. The kiss is sweet, and it fills me with hope for a future where I'll wake up in his arms, no nightmares dragging us down. Just us in a house we made into a home with a flowering garden and half-filled sketchbooks. He tilts my chin up, staring deeply into my eyes and says, "We'll be okay." "Hala," I whisper. We pass by Dr. Ziad when we go into the atrium holding hands. He doesn't say anything, just smiles at us and rushes to check on a patient. I guess seeing me leaning on someone for support is putting him at ease. That night, Kenan becomes an assistant helping me around the hospital. He's a quick learner, and after showing him how to change bandages without wasting gauze, he's able to do it on his own. We sneak glances at each other, smiling foolishly before looking back at our work, and it's the strangest feeling. When the rhythm at the hospital slows, Kenan and I sit on the floor against one of the walls, exhaustion finally overcoming us. All the beds are taken, so he gestures for me to lay my head on his lap, and I do, too bone-tired to feel flustered. I fall into a state of dissociation from reality, not quite asleep and not awake. Somewhere in between. It's as if my mind and body aren't able to fully rest. Around the early hours of the morning, a loud crash not far away jolts us all. Like shrapnel falling. Like a tank's rifle puncturing a building. I clamber to my feet, heart in my throat, and Keenan wakes with a gasp. "What's happening?" he asks wildly. "I don't know." Another crash. This time closer, and the patients who can move scramble, fleeing to the walls and deeper into the hospital's hallways. Children cry and panicked voices echo against the ceiling. "Keenan, get up," I say in a hollow voice. Urgency swells in my heart. Now. We have to get Lama and Yusuf. Whatever is happening outside, it's coming here, and when it does, it'll leave the hospital in ruins. As long as the lemon trees grow. Chapter 34. Keenan grabs my hand, but before we're able to take a step, the hospital doors burst open and 5 soldiers walk in. Their green military uniforms reek of murder, their rifles hanging across chests that are bare of the Free Syrian Army's flag. One takes out a handgun and shoots a patient execution style. A little girl with an eye patch and 2 mismatched hair ties. I stop dead in my tracks and grab Keenan's arm. We stare as the little girl slumps over, a pool of blood swallowing her small body, staining her short black hair. A woman screams, and the sound of it tears into my gut. She falls to her knees beside the girl and hugs her close, all the while begging her to be alive. "Teburani," she wails. Another shot, and the girl's body slumps back with a low thud to the floor as her mother joins her. "Anyone else want to say something?" the soldier shouts. The terrified wailing is instantly muted and muffled whimpers fill the space. I can barely focus over the thundering of my heart and force myself to think. Where's the rest of his group? The military would never send only 5 soldiers into FSA territory. Are they right behind them? The soldiers fan out, strutting between patients, whacking the occasional one across the face or digging the butts of their rifles into their injuries. "Does that hurt?" they mock. I pray the FSA gets here before the rest of the military joins them. Keenan's arm tenses under my hand, and I know he's thinking of Lama and Yusuf. They're just down the hall and will have definitely woken up with the other children. He slowly pulls me closer. "Take off your lab coat," he whispers so quietly I barely catch the words. Terror freezes my blood. Being a girl and a pharmacist makes me a special kind of target. I'll be accused of helping and healing rebels. I'll be tortured with the very tools I use to save people. I'll be raped. Keenan shifts deliberately until I'm behind him, his back covering me. I grasp at my sleeves and pull them down ever so slightly. But as I do so, my eyes catch on a little girl of about 7 cowering against the wall as one of the soldiers advances on her. Her arm is in a sling, a set of old bandages wrapped around her head, and her eyes are bulging with fear. In her face I see Ahmad. I see Samar. I see how this will happen to Lama and Yusuf. I see a girl whose last minuscule shred of innocence is about to be torn to pieces. And without thinking I move. I grab a discarded basin and fling it at the soldier's back. It promptly hits him and clatters to the floor. Silence settles over the atrium, broken only by the soldier's grunt of pain. My arm shakes as the soldier turns slowly. Better me than the little girl. His gaze rolls over me and the trembling spreads all over my body. "Did you just throw that?" he barks. At his tone, Keenan immediately clamps his hand in mine and pulls me back, but the soldier is faster. He grabs my other arm, yanking me out of Keenan's grasp, and I turn to glimpse the shock and terror in Keenan's eyes as I'm suddenly slammed against the wall. The soldier's forearm presses against my throat, holding me tightly in place, a squeeze away from being strangled. "You think you're real brave, huh?" he says, spitting the words. From the corners of my eyes I see Keenan restrained by 2 soldiers. His face contorts with fury, curses spilling from his mouth. One of them slams the butt of his gun against Keenan's face, and blood spurts from his cheek. I try to get to him, but the soldier shoves me back against the wall. Hard enough that I can't breathe for a bit. "You work here? You're healing these rebels? All these traitors?" he sneers. "Get off me," I snarl, not knowing where the courage is coming from. But I don't fear death. Kof has shown me the worst outcomes. And what stands before me is no man, only an animal in human skin. The soldier laughs and lets go of me. Before I fully comprehend what's happening, a sharp pain shoots through the side of my head and I'm slammed against the wall again. I groan, eyes closed, trying to get my bearings through the hammering in my brain. It takes me a few seconds to realize he's hit me with the metallic part of his rifle. I wipe my arm over my lips and find them coated with blood. It hurts to breathe, the air coming in and out in wheezes. It hurts even more to look at Keenan and see pure fear in his eyes. "You don't tell me what to do," I hear the soldier snap. "I'll kill you." Keenan bellows, blood dripping to the floor. The soldier turns toward him, raises his gun right at Keenan's temple, and I scream. "No." He stops, the gun still pressed against Keenan's forehead. Keenan's face betrays no fear. Not for himself. Only for me. The soldier glances at me. "No." I stare at him with hate-filled eyes that are dripping with tears. "Then how about this?" His gaze gleams. "I let your boyfriend live so he can watch this, huh?" Anger chokes my throat. "We don't have time for this," his friend says in a low voice, yanking Keenan back as he struggles. Keenan swears and the soldier hits him in the face. "The rebels could be near. The military won't make it here. We need to buy time until they—" "We have time," the soldier interrupts, and he grabs at me. My mind snaps as soon as he touches me and I twist against him, kicking. The patients behind us watch the macabre spectacle unfold with terrified eyes, not one of them daring to move, to say anything. And I don't blame them. He shoves the barrel of the rifle under my chin. It smells of blood and smoke. I cough. "Go to hell," I snarl, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing me tremble. He smiles, inching the rifle's mouth deeper until it nearly punctures my skin. Before I can blink, the rifle clatters to the floor and he seizes my arms in a death grip. He's bigger and well-fed while I'm surviving on fumes. He pushes me against an empty bed and I scream, clawing at his face. He grasps both of my wrists in one hand, immobilizing me, half leaning on top of my body facing me. He reeks of stale cigarettes and sweat. "Let her go," Keenan yells despite the gun being pointed at his head. A second soldier comes up behind him and slams his rifle against Keenan's back. I spit in the soldier's face. My saliva is reddish as it trails down his cheek, and it only makes him laugh, wiping it away while his other hand tightens around my wrists. "Hit him again," he says, and Keenan lurches forward with the force of another blow, a gasp wrenched from his aching lungs. "Don't give up, Salama." Kauf's voice cuts into my mind. I can't see him, but his tone is sharp, prompting a shot of adrenaline to clear away the hazy panic. "Don't. It's been a while since someone put up a fight." "I like it," the soldier sneers. He runs his free hand along my body. Revulsion sours my blood and I jerk my knee up between us, but he anticipates it, pressing his own down on my thigh until stars burst in my eyes from the pain. My thigh blisters with agony and I'm sure the skin is bruised. I hear the clink of metal along a belt, a zipper pulling down, and reality begins to set in. I twist in place, screaming until my throat is raw. He ignores me, his eyes full of malicious glee and his mouth hitched, and he sticks his hand under my sweater, touching my bare skin. I swallow a scream and, reacting on instinct, slam my head against his. There's no room for shock to paralyze my limbs when anger is burning through me, fueling me. Safety is 2 days away. I've lost Mama, Baba, Hamza, Layla, and baby Salama. I've learned to see the colors and I've found my own version of happiness. I'm owed myself. I'll either die or get to Germany, but I will not be touched by this animal. He stumbles back, howling with pain and clutching his forehead while I collapse on the bed, my head swimming. Is it enough? Hazy thoughts trickle like honey, thick and disoriented. My blood thunders against my skull, pounding against the bones. Every ounce of energy forsakes me. I can't think or move and I'm too scared Keenan will be shot if I try anything. Keenan's shouts and the soldier's yells dim and my vision blurs. But once it steadies, I see the soldier is seething, all hints of his humor gone. An angry welt swells on his forehead. I almost laugh. He takes out a blade from his holster and jerks me by the shoulders before pressing its sharp edge under the pulse on my neck. "You should be put down like a bitch," he snarls and drags it along my throat. Time slows. It comes apart at the seams, one red thread at a time. And with each strand I remember Kuram al-Zaitown. How just days ago children were butchered in this exact way. How they must have begged and screamed for their lives. Mere children. I think of Baba and Hamza and how they'd rather die 1,000 deaths than see me tortured like this. I think of Mama and her soft hands brushing my hair back, calling me her eyes and heart. I think of Layla and her larger-than-life laugh, her ocean eyes. And I think this is it. This is how I die. I'll finally smell the daisies. But his hands loosen and I fall once more against the bed. Everything goes black. I wake up with a jolt, something heavy on my throat, and I frantically scrape at it. Whoa! A voice says, alarmed, and someone grabs my arms. Careful, Salama. I squint, my surroundings sharpening in front of me. Keenan's worried face comes into view. You're all right, sweetheart, he murmurs. You're all right. I gasp in a breath. There's a rough fabric around my throat. It's gauze. My stomach lurches when I remember how easily the soldier's blade sliced against my skin, cutting me open. I shake my head, willing the image to disappear. My hands fly to my bare head, shock coursing through me. By hijab, I gasp, shaking. Keenan hesitates before gently taking my hands in his. Dr. Ziad bandaged your cut. It needed small stitches. You're in his office and it's just us, don't worry. No one's coming in. He exhales loudly. Alhamdulillah, you're fine. My breath steady. I turn my head slowly as I examine the room, which is empty save for Keenan and me. Dr. Ziad's desk, still cluttered with yellow papers and a few syringes, is pushed against the wall, and the bed I'm lying on is in the middle of the floor. The door is closed and so are the blinds. It's nighttime. Keenan sits back on the plastic chair beside me, relief and exhaustion in his features. His left eye socket is a deep scarlet. He has a cut on his lower lip that's been stitched and a model of budding bruises is scattered carelessly across his face. His eyes are glassy with the residue of the adrenaline, and he's wearing a forest green sweater free of any blood. What happened? I whisper, scared to speak any louder. I can't stop staring at his face. They hurt him. Are you hurt? He shifts in his seat. Dr. Ziad checked me. I have a minor concussion, but that's all. His voice is casual. He's trying to lighten what he's saying. Minor. I repeat loudly. They hit your back. Your chest. Are you okay? He doesn't reply, instead taking in a deep breath. I notice that his hands are shaking. Are you thirsty? He asks. I cough, suddenly aware of how parched I am. I nod. He stands and gingerly fetches a water bottle from Dr. Ziad's desk, then helps me drink. You've been asleep nearly the whole day. He holds the bottle. After that soldier, there was blood everywhere. I thought you died. But Dr. Ziad burst in at that moment with about 10 Free Syrian Army soldiers. He had slipped through the back door and contacted them. 3 surrendered, but the one who hurt you and another didn't. But they were outnumbered. A cold, satisfied tone takes over his voice. They're dead. He reaches over and squeezes my fingers. Dr. Ziad rushed to you and was able to stop the bleeding. You woke up then, do you remember? I don't answer, so he continues. Dr. Ziad gave you something to sleep. Your cut isn't deep. It didn't sever an artery, alhamdulillah, but you needed blood. One of the Free Syrian soldiers was able to give you his. I shudder. I was a whisper away from being 6 feet underground. Why were they here? They were able to find a way through a weakened spot at the borders with the Free Syrian Army. Go on an easy murder spree at the hospital before the rest of the military joined them. So the fight is getting closer? I ask. He nods sadly. The FSA have high hopes. Their faith is strong and they have their weapons, but I worry. Me too. Then I gasp. Lama? Yusuf. He puts a hand on my shoulder, calming me. They're okay. The soldiers didn't make it to their room. They're sleeping now and... He stops, his voice breaking, tears trickling down his cheeks. What? I say, panicked, my mind jumping to the worst of conclusions. He sits on the edge of my bed and hooks his arms under my back before pulling me to his chest. I almost lost you. The words come out choked, dry sobs shaking his shoulders. God, I felt so helpless. When he cut you, I can't bury you, Salama. I can't. He tightens his hold and I sink into him, eyes brimming with tears. We made it. He presses a kiss to my cheeks, my forehead, and a soft one to my lips. Bury me before I bury you, he whispers in prayer. Please. I clasp his face between my hands, brushing away the teardrops. I love you, he says before I can. I smile. It only takes a few words from him to untangle the vines gripping my heart. Keenan is magical that way. I'll be fine. We'll be fine. I need to believe that. I need to look at the colors instead of closing my eyes to beauty and hope. Even when it's hard to do so. Tell me something good, I whisper and scoot over to make room for him. He slowly lies down on his side and I face him, our legs tangled. He threads his fingers through mine and kisses my knuckles. I've wanted to draw you even before I met you. What do you mean? My uncle lives in Berlin. I remember seeing pictures of it on Google a few years ago. The architecture is breathtaking. They have this monument called the Brandenburg Gate. I always fantasized about taking my wife there. Have her sit right in the middle while I drew her. As if the whole place was built just for her. In this eye of the storm, his words come alive in my mind. I see us strolling around Berlin hand in hand, while he balances his art supplies on his shoulder. I'd pick carnations from the local florist and fashion them into a crown. On certain days when the sun shines through the clouds, rays scattering over the fields, it would remind us of Homs. Of home. I'd like that, I murmur. Keenan lets go of my hand to twirl a lock of my hair around his finger. I feel like I've known you all my life, Salama. I smile. Everyone knows everyone in Homs. Odds are we must have met before. As children, I spent most of my time in the playground playing football and making a mess in the sand pit. Oh, then we didn't meet. See, I was either on our balcony gardening or playing Barbies with Layla. He smiles. It might sound cheesy, but I'm sure our souls met way before they found their way into our bodies. I think that's where we know each other from. Heat rushes to my face. What he's saying is part of our faith. Souls existing beyond mortal bodies. Yet hearing him say that makes my ears and face burn. He chuckles. Tell me something good then. I pick at the cuff of his sleeve, appreciating how he distracts me from feeling flustered. Studio Ghibli inspired me to write. I begin and he looks at me with awe. After watching Spirited Away when I was 10, my mind became hyperactive. One day I thought, why not write my stories down? Did you? I shake my head. Never a full story, no. School happened. But I never forgot them. Especially when I fell in love with botany. He nestles closer. Would you tell me one of them? It's all right if you don't want to. My blood must have recovered somewhat because it rushes to my face. My heart pulls. It's silly. He looks offended. Silly? How dare you call my wife's stories silly? I bite back a laugh. I know this moment of happiness will trickle by like sand in an hourglass, but I want to make each second count. I want to keep the pain at bay for a bit more. Fine. As long as the lemon trees grow. Chapter 35. The birds are chirping when I wake suddenly, tucked against Keenan's chest, his arm wrapped around my shoulder protectively. Dread slithers along my skin, unwelcome and unbidden, and my heart races. A nightmare? I sit up and untangle myself from Keenan, praying he doesn't stir. He mumbles something unintelligible in his sleep. I can't remember if my dreams were troubled, but my anxiousness hasn't dissolved. If anything, it's escalating. The cut on my neck burns a bit when I twist my head. I stand looking for my lab coat and find it draped over Dr. Ziad's chair. I wet a corner of it and rub the spot on my stomach that the soldier touched. I frantically press harder, trying to shed the cells until it burns and my skin protests. Morning, someone murmurs from the corner of the room. My eyes adjust to the scarce early light leaking through the blinds, and I make out Koff's silhouette. Morning, I whisper, letting my lab coat fall to the floor. He steps out of the shadows, his dark suit rippling like the sea on a moonless night. That explains the dread. Koff looks wary. Does it? What do you mean? He glances around Dr. Ziad's office and suddenly advances toward me. His voice is urgent, very different from his usual drawl. If 5 soldiers from the military were able to breach the Free Syrian Army's defenses, what does that say? Fear is a cruel thing. The way it distorts thoughts, transforming them from molehills into mountains. Listen to me very carefully, Koff continues. If I didn't know better, I'd say he sounds anxious. It means this hospital isn't safe anymore. The hospital will be the first place they attack. Either with foot soldiers or bombs. You know hospitals are always targeted and the clock has run out on yours. The veins and capillaries in my hands constrict. It means you need to leave right now or else. He pauses, sussing out my reaction, but I don't move. My heart is racing as I try to understand why he's acting like this. Something about him, about his tone and the way he's looking at me, feels different. It's almost as if I'm talking to someone whose soul isn't extracted from mine. He groans, his jaw twitching. You never learn. Fine. And he snaps his fingers. Dr. Ziad's office shifts, morphing into a graveyard. In front of me are 4 cracked slab stones crowning 4 hastily made graves. Mine, Kenan's, Lama's, and Yusuf's. The backdrop is my hospital, flattened. The scenery changes sharply before I can comprehend. I'm standing on the shore with a gray sky lining the horizon, watching a boat filled to the brim with refugees sail away. Waves crash over the sand, soaking my sneakers, and the salty sea air burns my nose. Behind me, the sound of falling missiles thunders against my eardrums, and the sky glows a lustrous orange-red, swallowing the dreariness. Trees catch fire and the cries of the injured rise with the smoke. My future is on the sea, disappearing. Wait! I scream at the boat, lunging forward through the winter-cold water. The iciness of it makes me hiss. A bomb falls, and the force of it obliterates everything in its path, creating a hot current of wind that pushes me to my hands and knees, drenched in the Mediterranean Sea. Trembling, I glance over my shoulder to see the outline of another missile dropping. It's seconds away. I open my mouth to scream again and I stumble, my back hitting the wall of Dr. Ziad's office, and I slide to the floor, sobbing quietly into my sleeve. I bite into the fabric as my chest heaves. Cough crouches in front of me. Death will take over this hospital, he whispers. Do you remember what the soldier said? Think, Salama. Think. The military won't make it here. We need to buy time until they. My heart is about to burst. I know it will. Cough's face breaks out with a relieved smile and he nods. There are hidden words in his eyes he refuses to say but expects me to know. When I blink, he's gone. I clamber to my feet and grab my hijab. Kenan, wake up, I say, my voice raspy. I can still taste the acidity of the smoke in my throat. He sits up, eyes wild. What happened? Nothing. I pull my lab coat firmly over me. We need to get out of the hospital. He rubs his eyes. What? I hoist my backpack on. No time to explain. Get Lama and Yusuf and meet me outside. We need to leave now. I open the door and see the doctors and patients starting their day. I hurry to look for Dr. Ziad. Thankfully, Kenan doesn't argue and follows me. My heart beats painfully, and with each passing second I'm sure we're closer to our deaths. After frantically searching through a couple of rooms and the atrium, I find him in the stockroom. Doctor. I gasp. We need to evacuate the hospital. He starts. Salama. Are you all right? How are you? I zoom past him and snatch Panadol and amoxicillin packs from the shelves, then shove them into my pocket. Doctor. Grab whatever medications you can carry and let's leave. His confusion deepens. My desperation is making it hard for me to string my thoughts into a coherent sentence. We must. There's probably going to be all the other hospitals. He raises his hands in an attempt to calm me. Salama, slow down. I inhale deeply, holding it in my lungs, and in a forced calm voice say, if the military was able to get into the hospital, it means they're already at our doorstep. One of the soldiers yesterday said something about buying time until the military did. I don't know what. Might be a bomb. Might be something else. But we need to leave. I can't explain it. Something's about to happen. Kof is right. Where would you go? Everywhere. Dr. Ziad's face is stricken, but he doesn't move. We don't have time. I haven't been able to contact the FSA for the past 3 hours, he says. My stomach falls. We have to go. He nods, grabbing a stray cardboard box and shoveling the medications inside. Salama, tell everyone to evacuate right now. I don't waste another second and run through the hallways to the atrium. Everyone. I yell, and all the faces turn toward me, recognition flickering in some. Leave the hospital now. It's not safe. For a few precious seconds, they glance at one another with unease. Frustration builds inside me. It's because I'm a teenager. They're more reluctant to listen. It's not easy for some of them to move because they're missing limbs and others are hooked to IVs. Many are children and elderly. The military is going to bomb the hospital. We have to leave. Kenan screeches to a halt behind me, holding Lama's and Yusuf's hands. He's horrified. Bomb, he says out of breath. With the lighting, I can finally see that his left eye is swollen, barely open, and the bruise has turned darker in the daylight. Where's Dr. Ziad? One patient moans from their bed. He'll know. Dr. Ziad says we have to leave. I snap. I'm not sitting around waiting for them to listen, so I grab Keenan's arm and start pulling him behind me. Lama and Yusuf trail after in shock. The action triggers an effect in the rest of the room. The mothers are first to rise. They grab their children and fling the doors open, then run. Chaos unfolds. The crowds shove against one another. Doctors help the bedridden to their feet. My hold on Keenan tightens. I refuse to let my grip waver. As soon as we're by the door, I hear Dr. Ziad's voice booming over the masses. Leave now. His tone sparks another urgent rush and footsteps rumble along the floors. We all run down the stairs and out of the hospital's gates. My eyes dart to the skies and I search the blue for planes as we cross the street. The mob pushes against me, and their panicked force nearly makes my grasp on Keenan's sweater slip. Pins and needles prick through my arm, but I don't care. Out of the corner of my eye, I see M pushing his way through and I feel a surge of relief. After we pass the first building, I yank Keenan to the side, moving against the current to take refuge behind a torn-down wall and let him go. Our breaths are ragged as we stare at each other. The sun is out today, the rays hot on my hijab. Lama and Yusuf are confused and scared, their eyes glued to Keenan. He gives them a reassuring smile. I glance back toward the hospital, and my heart starts thundering when I can't spot Dr. Ziad among the people hemorrhaging out. And then the realization hits me. The babies in the incubators are still inside. My stomach drops and I hold the wall for support. I need to go back. I need to save the babies. But my legs are heavy with fear, half of me screaming to stay put, to stay safe. The other replays Samar's ashen, bloodless face as I held her life hostage. I grit my teeth, pushing away the fear, and before I can rethink my decision, I fling myself from behind the wall and run toward the hospital. Salama! Keenan shouts. I dash across the road, pushing through the swarms, through the courtyard and back up the steps. The atrium is empty, a sight I never thought I'd see. Linens are strewn on the floor, some of the beds overturned in the panic. Two figures emerge from the hallway. Dr. Ziad balances a huge cardboard box under one arm and cradles two small shapes with the other. Noor's white hijab flutters as she sprints past me, huddling two babies close to her. Dr. Ziad stops short and hands me the babies. They're wrapped in thin white blankets, each the size of a small loaf of bread. Their skin is red, their mouths tiny, and their fingers barely visible. There's a third in here, Dr. Ziad says, panting hard and putting down the box. The wrinkles around his eyes deepen. I glance inside the box and see a baby resting atop a small pile of medication packets. Can you carry the box? Give it to me. Keenan stops short beside me, his breath shallow. He tucks the box under his arm, twists on his heels and flees. Dr. Ziad turns, heading straight back toward the incubators. Doctor! I shriek, rooted to the spot. Doctor! He doesn't look back. Salama! Come on! Keenan shouts from the front. Tears erupt from my eyes and I sob as I hug the babies closer and run after him. As soon as we cross the road, we hear it. Plain. We reach the wall where Keenan's siblings are peering out, scared out of their wits. No, I choke, whirling around to face the hospital and hugging the babies closer to me. Please come out. Patients, rescuers, and staff are still spilling out the front doors. At the very last second, I see him. He nearly stumbles, supporting two more babies as he runs. His lab coat is half torn and the distance feels impossibly great. Yalla, I beg. God, please. The piercing sound of the bomb slices through the air as it falls. No. I scream, my arms trembling. Doctor, quickly. Keenan grabs me, ducking my head down as the bomb shatters the one place in Homs that held hope. The earth rumbles and cracks as if an earthquake hit. My eardrums ring from the force and debris-filled smoke blinds and chokes me. My limbs shake and I hunch over, trying to protect the infants. After a few heartbeats where the only sound is the crash of the hospital's columns collapsing, howls of mourning shake the dust-filled skies. Heart-wrenching cries and prayers rattle my core. Are you okay? I direct at Keenan. The dust settles just enough for me to make out his shape. Yes, he says, coughing hoarsely, and he winces. He turns to his siblings, making sure they're all right. Keenan, take the babies, I order. I need to find Dr. Ziad. He shakes his head fiercely. Salama, give them to me, Noor says, and I glance up at her, my heart soaring for a brief moment. She's unharmed. They can't stay here. They need fresh air. Some are already struggling without their incubators. 2 volunteers stand behind her and I hand the babies over to one of them while the other picks up the cardboard box. If you find Dr. Ziad, Noor stops, her voice shaking. Tell him we'll be at his house. I nod and stand despite my wobbly knees. The wreckage throws me into another whirl of despair. The hospital I spent all my days in is gone. It's a graveyard. The building has been reduced to rocks. The volunteers are scattered over the remains, desperately trying to remove the debris. When I get closer, I hear the faint screaming of those still trapped inside. It tears my heart in half. Their agony makes me forget the reason I'm leaving. From the smoke, Kof emerges, his eyebrows raised, not a wisp of the destruction touching him. Salama, there's nothing you can do, he says coldly. Don't you dare rethink your decision. The hospital is gone. Your workplace destroyed. There's nothing left for you here. Your family is dead or arrested. I know you don't want to be next. I look away from him, tears streaming down my face, and trudge forward despite my limbs shaking from fear. Dr. Ziad. I call over the moaning. Doctor. Slowly the dust settles. The sun's rays poke holes through the plumes of smoke. The ringing in my ears lessens, and when I scream his name for the 4th time, I hear a faint response. Salama. I look around wildly, tumbling in the direction of the main gates, to find Dr. Ziad sitting on the curb. There's a cut on his forehead, blood trickling down his cheek. His face is ashy gray, the tips of his hair and lab coat singed. Doctor. I exclaim, falling to my knees in front of him. Are you hurt? He shudders in a breath, slowly extending his arms to reveal 2 babies tucked in the crooks. I had to choose. He falls quiet, his face white and his eyes void of emotion. I ran with the ones I chose. But I can't hear their heartbeats. It hurts to swallow. I tried to save them, he whispers. Tears roll down his cheeks. I had to choose. The rest are still inside. They killed babies. I wipe my eyes. They're in heaven, doctor. They're not suffering anymore. He raises them, pressing a kiss to each of their foreheads. Forgive us, he whispers to them. Forgive us for our shortcomings. I sit there with him, mourning. They were premature and their chances of surviving without their incubators were slim. So, after a few minutes I say, Noor took the other babies to your house. I think they're alive. He glances up. Thank you. I shake my head. We're doing what's right. We don't do it to be thanked. He hands me one baby. It's a girl swaddled in a pink blanket. I hold her closer. Would baby Salama have been this small? I shudder and we manage to stand carefully. The baby's face is still, and if I close my eyes I can pretend she's sleeping. Salama, Dr. Ziad says, and I look at him. He extends one arm and I gently hand the baby back to him. You saved a lot of people today, he says after a beat of silence. Without your quick thinking, your gut feeling, I wouldn't be in front of you now. He exhales. I should have known something wasn't right when my calls to the FSA weren't going through, but my mind was muddled after yesterday's attack. We're only human. No one can expect you to anticipate everything. His smile turns sad. If only my guilty conscience could agree. What are you going to do? I gesture at the hospital. Where will the people go? His back is hunched, the years catching up to him, and in his eyes I see devastation. He looks around at the destroyed hospital, taking it all in. We'll build a new one, he whispers. Then he straightens his back and determination burns away the sorrow. Other cities, like Ghouta, are setting up underground hospitals. We'll build tunnels and mazes deep in the ground. They can bomb us all they want, we'll never bow down. His resilience humbles me. May God keep you safe, I murmur. I feel I shouldn't leave Syria without telling him. He'd be worried sick if I just never showed up again. Doctor, I'm leaving. Tomorrow. Surprise flits to sorrow, but there's no judgment in his eyes. It was an honor and privilege working with you, Salama. May God keep you alive and well. Please don't forget us in your prayers. The backs of my eyes burn and I manage to nod. He walks away, still carrying the 2 bodies as if they were his own children. Layla's home is haunting. It's as if it knows I'm leaving tomorrow. Keenan limps to the couch as soon as we walk in. We left the hospital site only when we could no longer stand. Keenan hauled debris until his arms shook. He was already weak from the beating he took yesterday, and he suppressed the pain until exhaustion claimed him. Lama and Yusuf crowd beside him, their faces fearful. I quickly light the candles. I'm okay, Keenan says, closing his eyes and breathing in quick puffs. I just need a minute. Can someone please get a glass of water? I open my backpack and rummage through the contents for the Panadol. There's a strip somewhere. Yusuf rushes to the kitchen where he scoops water from the rain bucket into a mug and hurries back. Here, he whispers, and we all freeze. Keenan reacts first, shock easing the tension in his expression. With a shaking hand, he sets the mug on the table in front of him before holding his hand out. Yusuf takes it. Keenan pulls him closer, not even flinching from the pain, and hugs his brother tightly. Lama bursts into tears and I shed a few happy ones too. Then Lama jumps on Yusuf and holds him close as her sobs muffle on his shoulder. Keenan, take your Panadol, I whisper, handing him the tablet, and he swallows it with the water. Lama and Yusuf move out of the way, but not too far from Keenan as I help him lie down. Keenan holds his brother's hand in his, grinning. Maybe I should get hurt more often. Yusuf blushes and Keenan launches into an exaggerated tale of the ridiculous ways he'll get injured as they giggle. I recognize the effort in his words and the forced easiness in his tone. He's trying to distract them from the devastation they witnessed today. Of a refuge reduced to ash. Or maybe I'll let a whale snap me up, he says. Lama titters and Yusuf can't fight the smile on his lips. Too unrealistic? Keenan says thoughtfully. Then I'll slip on a banana like in those cartoons. What would you say to that? Yusuf lightly punches his arm. You're weird. Keenan's eyes shine with joy. I like weird. They stay like that for a while before Keenan finally convinces his siblings to try and sleep. With a newfound hope in their eyes, they skip to my room. I help, tugging the covers over their small frames, making sure the cold doesn't seep through the cracks. I kiss Lama's cheek and smile at Yusuf. He hesitates for a second before smiling back. My heart swells and I whisper, good night. Sleep well, tomorrow's a big day. I close the door gently, tiptoe down the hallway, and stop when I get to Layla and Hamza's room. My fingers dance over the brass handle. I don't need to go in. Once was more than enough. I lay my head against the door and whisper, goodbye. I grab the 2 bags I packed with Layla and make my way to the living room. Keenan's eyes are closed, but they blink open as I walk in and sit on the rug in front of the couch. I slip off my hijab, run my fingers through my hair, and wince from the ache in my scalp. The cut on my throat stings, but I don't dare touch it under the bandages. How are you? He whispers. Surviving, I whisper back. Are you in pain? He shifts slowly. The Panadol is helping. Good news is we're meeting AM early. When I talked to my uncle a few days ago, he said he's flying to Syracuse today, he says. He'll meet us at the shore. Worst case scenario, we call him. Safety is so close I can almost taste it. I take out the USB stick from Layla's bag and run my thumb over its metallic shell, smiling. Thank you, Hamza. As agreed, we'll only pay him $500 and the gold necklace now that Layla. I stop, breathing deeply. Keenan trails his fingers over my cheek and I look up. His touch is comforting. I give him a watery smile before rummaging through Layla's bag and taking out the gold. I stash it in my bag's inner pocket and pull the zipper tight. I count the contents inside one more time. 8 cans of tuna, 3 cans of beans, 1 Panadol box, my high school certificate and passport, socks, 1 set of clothes. I got the lemons, Keenan says. He nods toward the kitchen. They're in the fridge. Thank you. I jump to my feet and rush to get them. Where's your camera? I ask as I put the lemons in the bag. He cringes. I destroyed it the night of the chemical attack. My mouth drops open. It's okay, he whispers. I uploaded all the videos to YouTube first. I hold his hand tightly. Oh, Keenan. His smile is sad. It's just a camera. I'll get you a new one. He laughs lightly and kisses my knuckles. When he brushes my cheek, my eyelashes flutter. I'm sorry, he murmurs, guilt saturating his voice. What for? I frown. His jaw strains. For what happened at the hospital when that happened. I shake my head. That little girl's terror reminded me of Samar. Of my sin. I couldn't let him get to that little girl. I know, Keenan whispers. It's okay. You did what you had to do. I'm just glad you're safe. His fingers brush over the bandage on my throat. It may scar. I nod, fussing with my sleeves, needing the comfort, so I ask, would you be okay with that? He lets out an incredulous laugh. My wife has a battle scar. She's a badass. I shake my head, smiling. It's not the only scar I have. He raises his eyebrows. You mean the ones on your hands? I love those. My smile deepens. Here. I take his hand and place it at the base of my skull, under my hair. Do you feel it? Yeah. He traces the ridges lightly, his touch gentle. His eyes are wide with wonder. Does it hurt? No. I got it when that bomb killed Mama. When I started seeing Cough. I frown. When Cough warned me about the hospital getting bombed, it felt like a blindfold I didn't know I was wearing dropped from my eyes. Now I can see clearer than before, but I don't know what it is I'm seeing. Are you okay? Keenan asks and I blink. His fingers slip down and he loops one through my wedding ring. Yeah. I smile and it dispels the concern on his face. Are you okay with this? He points at his busted lips. It might scar. I know you fell for my pretty face. I laugh and delicately run my thumb along the stitches on the edge of his lower lip. His eyelashes flutter. I guess I'll make do. His expression then turns serious and he sits up and reaches for my hands. Whatever happens tomorrow will be okay. Even if, he takes in a deep breath and presses his forehead against mine. Know that even in death you're my life. My heart skips a beat. Then another. I have no words to fashion into an everlasting promise that defies the world. So I press a quiet kiss to his lips. He sighs and after a few seconds says, "Tell me something good, Sheeta." I blush. Are you trying to distract me from today? He smiles. And me. I say, you like this one? The day you were supposed to come over, I was going to prepare a whole naif. He jerks back, a different glimmer growing in his eyes, until I swear the candlelight is trapped in them. You know how to make naif? From the semolina dough to the cheese to the drizzled orange blossom water over the pistachios and almonds. I murmur and tap my forehead. It's all saved here. There's genuine happiness in his expression, all traces of pain gone. You're perfect, he declares. I laugh, lacing my fingers through his. You're not so bad yourself. And in those final hours of our time in Homs, my bruised heart quietly heals. Cell by cell.